Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 15th of May. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you an overview that we can all relate to collectively, but please stay with me. I will then explore each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces in much greater detail. Now, as this week begins, so Mercury starts to go forwards. It went retrograde on the 21st of April. If there have been strands of your situation that have felt rather frustrating, have got bogged down, there's been misunderstandings or those inevitable glitches that we get with Mercury retrograde, it wouldn't be a surprise. But Mercury retrograde in Taurus is very specifically around financial matters, but also around our sense of values and self-worth. So it's been an opportunity to try to tighten up in those areas, but also work on making sure that we validate who we are. Now that process is given a huge boost, a further boost on Tuesday, because Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion and excitement, moves into the sign of Taurus to join up with Mercury, the Sun, and the North Node and Uranus. And it's going to be here through to the 25th of May 2024. So a huge journey is set to unfold. Now I think what we're going to see is some initial improvements. They may not seem particularly significant in our overall financial picture because there's been such a headwind that's been running for the last year, which really accelerated from that lunar eclipse on the 8th of November last year, which really was challenging for the overall economic environment. But we are going to see some improvements, bits and pieces. There may still be some creeping up in terms of interest rates, but I think this is the beginning of a much brighter period. But Jupiter is challenged by Pluto, so when we are thinking about our longer term future, we do have to balance our idealism with our realism. Now Friday also sees a new moon in the sign of Taurus, so another good news story. This is supported by Mars. When Mars is feeding into a new moon, the energy and drive of Mars, this time in Cancer, a feeling sign, is linking well with the earthy energies of the new moon. You can see below for my deep dive on the Taurus new moon, but it's a new moon with lots of promise because the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. This is its second favourite location, and it's very much to do with stability, but it's encouraging us to find ways to try to make our lives more secure and grounded, perhaps by being a bit more thrifty, a bit more imaginative, working things around in terms of existing resources the best we can. But as the week draws to a close, it's a more social set of influences that really start to develop. Mars punching into the sign of Leo on Saturday, where it will be through to July the 10th. This is really exciting. Wonderful for performance, for demonstrating our talents and our creativity. But on Sunday, as the Sun speeds in to the sign of Gemini, the Sun and Mars continue their excellent alliance that did encompass that new moon, but in two new signs. And of course, the Sun moving into Gemini is about air, it's about communication. So I feel that we're going to see a lot of sluggishness that's been really prevalent over the last 3 weeks make way for a lot of thrust-in energy by the end of this week. Also, the Sun's forging an exciting link to Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, the Sun in Gemini. So in general, a lot more communication is going to be arcing backwards and forwards, but in a very transformational way. So I think after a year of what has been quite a brutal time financially, there are going to be a few hopeful signs, but that will become much more obvious in the weeks and months to come. But as this week draws to a close, it's an opportunity to get together with others, to socialise, to connect, share ideas and be a lot more bubbly. If you're a returning visitor to my channel, thank you so much for joining me once more. If you're new here, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Also, if you'd like to get your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see the link below. So Capricorn, your week commencing the 15th of May forecast holds truly rich promise. Not only does Mercury go direct in your sector of sociability, self-expression, creativity, so if there have been some snares and snags and delays and misunderstandings around those areas, it wouldn't be a surprise. But Mercury going direct in this area offers opportunities to get things moving forwards more swiftly, but it's augmented by Jupiter's arrival on Tuesday. In this sector, the 5th house, probably one of the best sectors of all, beyond being in your own sign, even though Jupiter, of course, is not at its own personal best in the sign of Capricorn, being in 4. So here you have an opportunity for the next year to really sparkle. Jupiter is about a sense of self-confidence, but it's also about fortune. It is the planet that a lot of people who don't know much about astrology think astrology is about, luck. And obviously Sirius astrology is much less to do with the concept of that and much more to do with timing our moves in a very informed way. And when things are a little bit challenging, we have the information and knowledge to know where we are, but also when to make those moves. So you're being given a platform for the next 12 months to really sparkle when it comes to your talents. Now, whether you're a crafter or a maker, or you have a part-time hobby, or you're someone who is a performer, or you're someone who has musical talents in some kind of way, whatever you want to showcase, the next year is a sensational window of opportunity, but you must seize it with both hands. You can be quite a cautious sign, and therefore it's important that you don't let the joie de vivre of Jupiter's opportunity to bring that spark into your world, you don't let it pass, because perhaps you're seeing opportunities but maybe a little reticent to actually step out of your comfort zone and go for them. Now, Jupiter is going to be squaring up with Pluto. It could see you with a very strong impulse to splash some money. I know money is tight for a lot of people, but there may be something or even someone that you really could feel a little bit more impulsive around when it comes to your expenditure. For example, buying someone a gift if you really fancy them. And that might be a really nice thing to do, and it might work out really well. I would think because Jupiter and Pluto can be such a compulsive combination, it's just important not to splash money on anything speculative unless you've really worked out the pros and cons, because the 5th house is also the sector of chance, so it can be very much about speculation. And because Jupiter is about being more happy-go-lucky and going for it, just be aware. And that's where your Capricornian nature can be so good, to make sure that you check things out in a very diligent, applied and careful way, of which you have in spades, before you do pitch into anything too fully. Now also, of course, there's a new moon on Friday. So this new moon is a real green light to get together with friends, have some enjoyable encounters. If there has been some cancellations recently, perhaps through no one's fault whatsoever, poorly children, work demands, misunderstandings, a great chance this week to really engage with others. And of course, that glorious sense of humour of yours can really come to the fore as well. Now, Saturday does see Mars move into a new sector, but I want to assure you of this. Mars moving into your 8th house is a very passionate location. If you're wanting to improve your financial lot, this is going to give you enormous drive in order to do it. But of course, it does come face to face with Pluto. So what I would say is, towards the end of this week, once more, if you do feel a big compulsion around a financial matter, try to understand what is the trigger behind that. Also, it's important to recognize that maybe someone you're drawn to in a more romantic context, the lusty side of it could be the side that's really the big component, and that might work really well. It could be a very hot attraction, but there's nothing like having comparable values to keep a relationship together or give it a real promise. So just be aware that your desire side can really be ramped up as this week draws to a close. But the sun moving into your 6th house of practicalities as the week draws to a close, if you do want to move from this quite bubbly and outgoing week into a period where you're really using your talents in a way where you're starting to see constructive returns. So you're taking the big picture and the excitement of a plan you've got, but applying it in a very astute way, as only you could do. You have a great opportunity to really go with that from Sunday onwards. Now, if you would like to ascend above this Zodiac broadcast and understand how serious astrology can help guide your future, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This will help you to gain a much closer understanding of the patterns that have been playing out in your life thus far, but also capitalize on opportunities more effectively, but also deal with some of the challenges better. But also, within my special package of 30% off, you can get your 12-month personal forecast. This will give you searing insights as to what to expect in the months to come. If you don't know your time of birth, please give me your date and place, and I can produce for you my solar package based on the sun. And if you enjoy relating to Zodiac forecasts on YouTube through your sun, these will make perfect sense. And just like my other package, there is 30% off if you buy the forecast too. Please see the link below for more.